Okay, good evening, race fans. It's your host Shane Guilford, and you've joined us for round 12 of the V8 League for 2022. Tonight we're at Gold Coast 600 in Surfers Paradise, Queensland. We've got one of our biggest fields all year, 23 drivers at the moment out there qualifying. So we're going to get into it pretty quickly. But before I do, I'm going to introduce my co-commentators. First of all, David Evans. How you going, buddy?
I'm doing all right, Shane. It's good to be back here for the V8 Super League here up on the Gold Coast at Surfers Paradise. I was just watching a little bit of the practice while we were waiting for qualifying, and a few drivers lost, had some big moments up there. So it sounds like it's going to be an interesting night, and I hope you guys are ready at home to witness some great racing.
Yes, there's plenty of action ahead of us tonight. And to join us, a very special guest with us, one of our drivers, Gabriel Nunez from Gabriel Nunez Racing, is joining us in the commentary box. How you going, Gabriel?
Doing great, thanks. And yeah, as Dave said before, definitely excited to be commentating for the V8 race on Gold Coast. I've also been watching the practice and first laps of qualifying. The drivers are definitely giving everything they can out there, but this gets quite narrow, especially for the size of its cars, so I think we'll definitely see some interesting wheel-to-wheel battles tonight.
Yes, 22 cars at the moment, and Gold Coast has to be one of the tightest circuits, especially with the beach chicane, which we're on screen with James Spotto at the moment on his, actually he's on the quickest first sector of the session, so Wayne Walker just posting a fastest lap of 108.9. We haven't seen the 108s lately tonight, so it's already off to a flyer. Wayne Walker smashing it with Oppitasano right behind him at the moment in P2. Championship leader Craig Broadbent is in P3. While I talk about that, guys, I'll just bring up the season standings at the moment so we all get a good idea on who's racing who. At the top, Craig Broadbent after 11 rounds, totally dominating the season at the moment. Scott Flack, very consistent, picking up a lot of points in the enduro rounds. Sits safely in P2. And Daniel Oppitasano, after taking out the Bathurst last round with us, taking out maximum points, shoots him up 2 spots into P3 and relegating Harrison Tebb down to P4, and David Baker moving up as well with Matt Collins chasing his tail with 1 point different. Rounding out the rest is Bradley Martin and Chris McLennan, Brad Mays and Justin Bryce are your top 10. So who's your money on, Gabriel? You've driven this race a couple of times. Who do you think's going to win tonight?
I've been watching David Baker go around a couple of laps and he's looking very strong with fastest I saw him do was a 109.0. So I have a feeling he might do really well tonight.
And Dave, who do you think? We've got 4 minutes to go in quali. The timesheets are forever changing. Who do you think is going to be top of the pops by the end of the night?
From what I witnessed in practice, Craig Broadbent, Harrison Tebb and Matt Collins were very close together, pretty much with similar lap times in 1, 2, 3 at the end of practice, but I think my money has to be on the championship leader and Craig Broadbent.
Yeah, he's too strong this year. We're just watching Harrison Tebb get the tongue out to manage himself through the back S's, the beach S's I should say, really working that car to take that turn. You can see really hooking in. We're experiencing a bit of glitching at the moment. I hope that's not going to affect the race when we put the whole 20 together on the starting grid. But we're back to 23 now. We've got Dom Barnes logging in. I'll just see where he's at the moment. P23, he's in the Red Bull livery. Currently in P23, trying to post a lap for us. We've got F. Nagy in the Penrite. We're unfamiliar where he's from. But I'm sure we'll get to know a bit more details on him towards later in the night as we go through. This is going to be huge. 23 drivers trying to get through the first chicanes. Gabriel, what would be your plan of attack to survive in these races?
The That's the way I would probably go about it, is try not to push and shove your way through too much, as the track is quite narrow, barely enough space for 2 cars to go through this straight, so the turns would be even more narrow. So if you try and stick to the plate, keep it as clean as you can, and just make it through the first turn relatively unscathed, you'll have a good chance for the rest of the race.
Yeah, so for a bit of safety, the guys have been instructed and not authorised to go through the first chicane if to avoid any certain accidents, but obviously not to gain any positions in that encounter. So they should be slowing down through that section if they're to go straight ahead. We're just watching Naji go through the first chicane. So we'll have to let him know not to do that. As we've got 1.5 minutes, it's Wayne Walker, Oppadasano, Matt Collins. He's been showing a lot of pace tonight in the truck assist Ford Mustang as he comes out for another hot lap.
Yeah, I'm just watching Craig Broadbent's qualifying lap at the moment, and he's not posting any expected. So I don't think he's going to improve, but we'll see what Craig's pulling out. He's gone up to third for that one, so he's done really well. So he's made up a position as Craig Broadbent. But I reckon Craig can qualify in the top 2. I reckon he's got it in him full front row position.
Well, he's only got a minute to go and he's already done his hot lap, so unfortunately he won't be able to get back out there in time to get himself up any further as Matt Collins is in P4 at the moment. Oppadasano's timesheets are just dropping in and out, but by the time it comes to the race, he'll be up there on front row. So we've got 30 seconds to go. I'm a bit worried about the glitching at the moment. I hope you guys at home can hear me, and I'll just bring that music down, which usually overpowers the stream, and we'll get going right after this and a few commercial breaks. But right now we're just about to finish quality session. There we go, there's the timer, so that's the end of the session. We'll just wait for all drivers to finish their qualifying lap. We see Chris Lennon just going through there, and he's parked it up. So we'll see who else is out there and not in the pits. James Spotto's on a flying first sector. Oh, just hit the wall there. So that'll nullify that lap for him. Got Matt Collins out. Fastest first sector at the moment, PB on sector 2. So what's he going to do in sector 3? Getting the front end into the slide. He looks like he's on a fly, really just scraping up against that wall. Coming down the main straight. Will he improve on P4? We'll see when he crosses the line.
Oh, that is sensational for Matt Collins.
Oh, that's put him right on the. That's put him on the front row of the grid. Well done to Matt Collins, putting it on the second row of the grid with a 1:08.733, smashing those times there. So we'll probably go to a quick commercial break and then come back for race 1.
Tell them about Entertainment Park. Well, this place, it's like, it's...
my favourite place in the world!
The thing about this place is that...
it's fun for all ages, no matter what your age. You'll love it.
What I really want to say about Entertainment Park is,
they have the best go-karts, plus a great cafe. Games, bowling, simulation, but the go-karts, oh my God, they are so much fun.
Look, thing is that this place is...
perfect for my birthday party. Everyone said it was the best birthday party ever. Yeah!
What I really want to say about this place is...
Just say it!
It's a fully hectic, oh my God, venue.
Finally!
Entertainmentpark.com.au. And as Tahi says, it's hectic.
And oh my God.
Lights are green and the cars are going, and the Gold Coast once again. And there was a good start from Corey Warframe, and it looks like the grid got away quite cleanly this time. Now let's hope that the turn 1 and 2 scenario will be nice and clean as well.
Championship leader gets through the first turn, and there's a bit of a scuffle with Harrison Temmell. Looks like Bill Cosmo up the front. David Baker moving up into P5 now. Cosmo up in the third. We'll watch him come through. They'll get through relatively cleanly. One overtake. Photo falling back there. And Holmes in a Wayne Walker suffered a lot through the restarts as he's played down a people team, but he'll have 30 laps to catch his way up again as we head into this, let's call it a semi-enduro.
Watching the cars fishing back there, that was well, no cars moving over or running into that, that's good to see. And quite a moderate time leader, second ahead of Scotto, and third.
So Phil Cialeglio in P7 is doing a fantastic job in the Super Cheap Auto. Harrison Tebb right behind us, so is Braden Pritchard. Is right behind him in P8 too. Tom Barn P9 and Twichislawski P10. Dave.
Yeah, Bill Cosmo just had a bit of a moment coming onto the main straight, trying to get past Eli Newman for 19th, so Bill Cosmo's pretty much out of it at this point. But well, hopefully he can recover from that mistake and he can catch the rest of the field and make some few overtakes. But that's a shame for Bill because he definitely had that move on Eli Newman done, and he just lost control of the car.
Very on a track that has no gravel run and
although
they have a lot of grip, you can't see the car, you'll end up spinning quite easily.
And we've got Phil Cialeglio who's just got caught up as well. He's managed to turn the car completely around as he's trying to get it going from the escape road as he's rejoined the race. and that's bringing Bill Cosmo straight back into the action as we've got Bradley Martin just ahead of him. So many drivers to try and keep track of. It's unbelievable. Craig Broadbent has opened up a little bit of a lead, and Matt Collins is putting the pressure on James, and James has lost that second place to Matt Collins. A bit of a slight mistake. As you mentioned quite a few times before, Gabriel, the slightest bit of mistake on a narrow track like this, and you can lose your position just like that, and that's what happened to James.
They got through the back again, and Matt Collins is setting the fastest lap so far, 1:10.6. So that's yeah.
So we should see him catching up to the back of Craig Broadbent up in P1 at the moment. He's trying to stretch that lead as quickly as he can. It's already 1.9 seconds, but the boys behind him are battling it out for P4 at the moment with Alex Kiddis ahead of the train here and David Baker right behind him, and that looks like Harrison Tebb, championship position 3 and 4, I think that is. Battling it out on race 3 of the Gold Coast round 12 of the V8 Championship.
Yeah, and Phil Charleglio has just had another moment trying to get through those 3 chicanes. Once again, losing control of the car, so he's fallen further behind. In 20th position, as we see Don Barnes and Braden Pitchard going at it. Oh, and they've both hit the wall at the exact same time. Perfectly oh, and we've got Scott Flack, who's now coming through as a mistake as they're coming through those tight chicanes with Wayne Walker in 9th. We've got Don Barnes in 10th. So a great little battle forming between in the middle of the pack here.
Yeah, so Don Barnes is an unknown entity, so we're not too sure how he's going, but he's doing pretty well to be in the top 10 at the moment. He's got Wayne Walker just ahead of him, and Leonard falling back down at P11 as well. We saw him up the front a bit earlier. So a few guys up the front just drop back down. We'll see if the field settles down into a rhythm, and see how they end up with in another 25 laps time.
The drivers have unique driving styles. Actually, not bad. So others could end up in front. But you also want to on iOS to drive a team and either help aid your tires or wet them out faster than you want.
We just saw Bryce getting caught up at the Red Rooster hairpin there, and he lost the back of the train. So it's very important to keep your wits about you. We just saw him just get squeezed out, losing final seconds.
Yeah, we've got a nice little battle happening between Baker, Alex Kiddis and Harrison Tebb for 4th, 5th and 6th. All 3 drivers have made contact with each other at least a couple of times on this lap, as Harrison Tebb just letting Alex Kiddis that he knows he's there, ready to pounce for when Alex makes a mistake. And I don't want to be the reason for commentators' curse, but as they're coming down the Lon main straight, coming into turn 1, and I think Harrison Tebb's just going to sit behind both of them and just hopefully they make a mistake, and then Harrison Tebb might be able to get through, but he's definitely going to apply the pressure on Alex Kiddis and David Baker.
I personally think the three-way battles are particularly interesting because you don't want to end up having 3 abreast there because the track is barely wide enough for 2 cars to go side by side. So if you've got 3 cars abreast going into one turn, you could expect to see some wheel bumping.
We just saw Harrison Tebb there clipping the wall as he's trying to get around Alex Kiddis out in front in the Shell Helix car. He's doing everything he can to get around, but we can see it's not that easy around the Gold Coast circuit.
Yeah, and we've got Matt Collins into the slipstream of Craig Broadbent coming down the main straight. Matt Collins is definitely on the pace, as you can see. He's really caught Craig Broadbent in the last couple of laps. So great little tussle between these two for the race lead. So yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on Matt Collins and Craig Broadbent battle out in front, as they've put a massive gap back to James Spotto, and the gap's now 7.7 seconds.
And climbing as well. Yeah, sorry to cut you off there, but yeah, Collins and Broadbent are only separated by less than half a second. So, oh, there's a bump there, right into the wall. Who's coming out ahead? Broadbent is still ahead of Collins. That was a really, really tight squeeze there.
And we're now starting to come up the back of Phil Cilaglio, one of the back markers there. So this is where it's going to get interesting. We'll use them to either gain or lose positions through the field. It's going to happen throughout the next 30 laps.
Monumental accident. Sorry, Shane. Alpha Axia, Justin Bryce and Braden Pitchard trying to all get through those 3 chicanes and all just tripping over each other at the same time. So that was a huge accident from those 3, but Justin Bryce and Alpha Axia have recovered really well, not to lose too many positions, and same couldn't be said for Braden Pritchard. He's lost about 4 positions, slipping down to 15th, and I saw Bradley Martin getting stuck with Bill Cosmo just at the back there. So a lot of battles going on between everyone in the pack, as Craig Broadbent is still stuck behind Phil Tramaglio, and this is going to help Matt Collins to stay right with Craig Broadbent, and then the door could open for Matt Collins, and he could
just
be
saw
taken.
David Baker go past Scott Black. Sorry to cut you off there, but looks like Scott ran a little bit wide through the hairpin, and Baker went down the inside on him.
Oh, and Matt Collins has just got past Craig Broadbent. Craig Broadbent tripped over Bill Cosmo, trying to go down to the inside, so Craig slipped down to second as a result, and Matt Collins has taken the lead, and that was a mistake that Collins was looking for.
Yep, and he made very good use of it. Now has a lead of 0.3 seconds. Now it's just a matter if he can keep it going smoothly through the turns and not making any mistakes. And there's a little clump up there.
Was that Alex Kiddas doing multiple flips on the same bit of tarmac with Harrison Tebb, and Don Barnes is going to go straight through as a result. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I don't know if you picked it up, Shane or Gabriel, but I just saw Alex Kiddas in the background doing multiple flips on the exact same bit of tarmac. So that was really interesting to see.
He could have clipped the inside ripple and rolled over, and unfortunately Harrison Tebb got caught up against the wall with him, so he was pretty much stuck there. Nothing much they could do, because the rest of the pack just comes straight through, as we see Wayne Walker just getting past Scott Flack, and now on the charge to take P4 from David Baker. So Wayne Walker moving up the field from 18th up to 4th now. And this is where the battle's ensuing, because Matt Collins...
and Harrison Tebb. Oh my God, that was monumental. Harrison Tebb, and Alba Axis just done a head-on collision with Harrison Tebb there, just saying a quick hello. But Harrison Tebb, losing it through those tight chicanes, and doing a monumental barrel roll as a result. So that was a big accident, and that brings Shannon Barnes into the action right behind Harrison Tebb.
These were the incidents we were mentioning before. If you go over the curbs too much, you'll end up rolling the car in straight into the wall. That's where you'll make your biggest loss of time and positions.
Baker trying everything he can to keep Wayne Walker behind, but he's just gone through, and Wayne Walker moving up into P4 now, charging down Craig Broadbent, is actually dropped into P3 now. So this is definitely going to be mixed results at the end of the night. So it's exciting for us to watch. Chris McLennan now up into P7. Flack getting up, squeezing up Baker, but he's having none of it. So it's a short sprint to the next left-hander. Baker and McLennan gets up and he makes another position, locks up the front, runs into Baker, won't take the position, but he'll wait for another opportunity. Baker trying to block as he's trying to take his own racing line as well, very tight through here, and it'll be a sprint down the main straight.
That was great defending from Baker there, fending off 2 cars at once. Great racing there. Really shoved towards the wide end there, but he managed to hold on and keep his position. So well done to Baker.
Yeah, and James Spotto is now past Craig Broadbent. Craig Broadbent now starting to go backwards as a result. I didn't see the overtake.
The run-up area too.
Yeah.
Looks like McLennan and Baker come together down the main straight. Not too sure how that can happen, but there it is. Baker spinning around there, falling back into P7. McLennan up into P5, and that's Scott Flack in between. And looks like Gregory Newman in the middle there, just coming through the chicanes.
We also keep watching our top two, Matt Collins and James Spoto, who are actually separated by about 9.1 seconds. So if Collins makes no mistakes, he'll be able to either build that lead or keep it. But he's also got to make sure that James Spoto doesn't start catching him.
Well, keep an eye on the timing sheets here. It's 9.1 seconds at the moment, but with Broadbent behind, that could delay him even more. So Collins could get fresh air and start to stretch that lead. But it really depends on the pit strategy. Have the guys decided to go without a pit stop? 30 laps is a long way to go on softs, even hard. So I'm sure we'll see at least one pit stop throughout the race.
Yeah, most of the drivers have pretty much spread out at the moment. I was just scrolling through the order to see if there was any close battles. The closest we've probably got is Chris and Scott Flack for 5th and 6th. But apart from that, everyone else is pretty much spread out by at least about 2 seconds. Oh, and Alex Kiddas is into the wall, and David Baker has gone through. He just caught up with Gregory Newman. And they've done it again.
They're both facing backwards this time, so they both clashed, hit the wall and spun each other around.
Yeah, Alex Kiddas lost out massively then, trying to get past one of the back markers in Gregory Newman. So he won't be happy without that, because that's been ruined his race at the moment. And he was running in a strong 7th position, which has now been taken by David Baker. He's got Don Barnes right behind him for company in P8. So we'll keep an eye on that little battle. And should be a good tussle between those two, as Don Barnes has got a good run and he's passed David Baker. And looks like David Baker might be coming into the pits. Yes, he does. So this could be a change.
You keep your eye on pit strategies, because you don't want to maybe fit the wrong compound tyre that may or may not last you the rest of the race. And if it does, if you can make it last long enough so that you can be fast and strong for the next couple of laps to make up your mind.
Yeah, got a 3-way battle between Broadbent, Shane Walker and James Spotto at the moment. Great little bit of action.
It's Wayne Walker just behind Craig Broadbent, and that's James Spotto in P4 in the Red Bull. This would be a great battle too. We're coming up to another back marker as well, so guys are getting lapped left, right and centre here, so I think that's Gregory Newman as well. So these three will stay together for a little bit. We'll see what the pit strategy is. Newman into the pits for tyres.
Yeah, remember what I said earlier, in three-way battles, you don't want to get them too close together, because they can take each other out and not get anything at all. So let's see how long it can last and how long they can keep it.
Broadbent back ahead of Walker now as he reclaims P2. Spotto just falling off a little bit there, so hopefully he can get his rhythm back and really get on the back of these two. But Walker definitely on his way to the front. Just a long way to go to catch Collins, as we saw, now up to 11.8 seconds ahead.
Yeah, just going through the chicanes at the back now, they all clean, no one rolling, no one going able, which is good to see. Alex Kiras going through the first turn nice and smooth, he's keeping his lap time nice and fast. And right behind him. So let's see if the slipstream will help him in this case. Seems he's a bit too far back for it though.
Yeah, Wayne Walker needs a good run here, coming out of the last corner to get into the slipstream of Craig Broadbent. And hopefully, Wayne Walker's coming in, never mind. Just forget what I just said then. So Craig Broadbent has got no pressure behind him whatsoever as Wayne Walker comes in to change his tyres.
So that's two drivers we've seen pit for new tyres now. Wondering how many more we'll actually see. we're halfway through the race now, about 15 of 30. And some cars are actually coming out of turns, wiggling a little bit. So I wonder if they're starting to lose grip.
Yeah, it looks like they're at the end of their tyre life on the softs. If they chose that, in fact, we can go to see what tyre compounds each driver's got. And it looks like Justin Bryce has set his to wets, unless that's a little glitch there. But it has happened. We saw Tebet Bathurst accidentally set to wets, and he definitely found out how slippery they were after 2 laps. The compound too mushy and got too hot early. So not the ideal compound, but Matt Collins is on soft, so we should see him come in for a set of another softs, I'd say. But Broadbent McLaren looks like they're planning to go the long haul with the one set of tyres. Who knows? We'll see in another 14 laps. And that's Spotto into the pits now on soft, so Flack up into P4.
Yep, so a lot of drivers are going to hard compound tyres to see if they can last out the remaining 14 laps. And others may actually switch to softs again in the event they may want to try and snag the fastest lap and get that extra point.
Yeah, we got a little battle. Oh, wow. Harrison Tebb and Justin Bryce and Alex Kiddhouse have just come together. Justin Bryce and Alex Kiddhouse were actually going to the pits, and Harrison Tebb joined it. Wow.
Coming in really hot, right as he turned. Hope the other driver can avoid. Oh, he goes in the back of Alex Kiddhouse.
Great driving that
coming
way.
Undone for them.
So Alex Kiddhouse has missed his pit stop as Justin Bryce manages to get in. God, that was just all happening at once. Harrison Tebb ran at the back of Justin Bryce and Alex Kiddhouse, who were coming into the pits. And Harrison Tebb, I don't think he was aware of it, and he's just driven straight into the back of those two. But yeah, so Alex Kiddhouse has got to go around again on those tyres before he can make a pit stop.
And if they're extra worn, it might actually slow him down, and he might lose places as a result. So definitely hope he gets a fast pit stop and can make up some time on fresh rubber.
I think it looks like Teb's just looking out for Kiddhouse to make sure he passes. I'm not too sure. As we see another, looks like that's Phil Chiliglio spun out again and has retired to the pits. Wayne Walker coming out of the pits now on fresh rubber. He's up into P5 already.
Now he made that smooth. His wheels lifted a bit, but he kept it in control. He's got a good exit out of that corner. So let's see how he does in the next one. Here he comes, nice and clean and out of the wall. That's what we like to see. Shannon Barnes driving a really good stint as well. Let's see how it goes through the first turn. Nice and clean. There's 2 wheels up, but that's what happens with high curves. But as long as you can keep it in control and on the road, you'll be alright. So we've now got a mixed up grid. Collins leaves Broadbent, leaves McLennan, leaves Black, leaves Walker, top 5. Spotto has dropped down from 2nd all the way to 7th, so that's a big loss for him.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the timing sheets. Craig Broadbent is starting to catch Matt Collins just ever so slightly at the moment. The gap is now 9 seconds. Craig's really coming through. He's got the gap under 10 seconds. So yeah, no, Craig Broadbent definitely putting that foot down, trying to make something happen here, trying to catch up to Matt Collins. But the way Matt... I don't think he has. I don't think Craig's come into the pits yet, or I could be wrong about that.
I haven't seen him. I think he's running the hards at the moment. No, he has not come in for a stop.
No. And we've got Bradley Martin coming in just ahead of Craig Broadbent there, coming in for East New Tyres down in 12th. And he should be able to... No, he's going to lose that position to Bill Cosmo.
So we've got Brad Martin on screen now. You can see him racing from home, just coming in the pits, rejoining. That was a pretty quick pit stop. probably going back on the softs as there's only 11 laps to go in this final race of the evening.
Yep, and his pit was uninterrupted, no errors there, that's good to see. And remember when I mentioned strategy earlier when it comes to tyres and actually the lap that you pit, you also want to heavily consider where you are in terms of the grid, because you lose up to 30 to 35 seconds in the pit lane, plus the 7 or so seconds that you're stationary to change your tyres. So it's a really, a lot of the time, a big gamble to play.
Yeah, Scott Flack at the moment down in 4th, having a little bit of trouble getting through the back markers on this narrow circuit as he's losing a lot of time to Chris McClellan in 3rd position. He should be able to get past, it was a Gregory Newman down the straight with that slipstream. And yes, he does. Gregory gets out of the way. Absolute gentleman there, letting Scott Flack go without any trouble. Oi! And that was Shannon Barnes just going up and over that little tyre barrier and then launching about 5 feet up there.
Yeah, that's what we were saying before. You go in too hot, you'll end up on your roof. So it's really unfortunate to see there.
Yeah, that was a huge accident there from Shannon Barnes, as he's got to wait for all the drivers to come through before he can flick it around. And there he goes, all straight in the way of
Alex Giras. But it looks like he's kept the engine running and he's moving now in position 16.
So we've just had race leader Matt Collins come into pits, and it's given the lead back to Craig Broadbent. Collins rejoining in P5. He's got 10 laps to go, but he's about 20 seconds behind the leader. Not too sure if he can do it. We'll have a look at the timing screens. David's the person for that. We'll see how much time he's gaining on each lap towards the lead with 10 laps remaining.
And Wayne Walker has actually set the fastest lap of a 1:09.9.
Ooh, it was a bit of a pile-up coming around that last corner with Bill Cosmo, and Matt Collins was caught up in a little bit in that, so he's lost a lot of time to Scott Flack in 3rd, as he's just passed Troy Sislowski coming down the main straight. So yeah, so it hasn't been a good night for Bill Cosmo to be caught up in everyone's mess around this narrow circuit.
Someone was leaning on the barrier there. I don't know if you caught that there.
That's Braden Pritchard in the Castrol Mustang trying to get the car to spin around. Yeah, he's just got to drop the clutch there.
Yeah, and you want to be careful when you spin too, because the lack of traction control will allow you to do a kick spin to turn the car around quickly. But if you're not turned all the way, you will end up in the wall, as we did see just then. So he's now running forward and up in 10th position.
Yeah, we've got Chris McClellan, who's really starting to catch Craig Broadbent now, with 8 laps to go. And the fastest man of the race at the current time is Wayne Walker down in 5th position with a 1:09.9. But yeah, Chris really starting to reel in Craig Broadbent towards the end of this race, so I reckon we can see a great little tussle between these two in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, he's catching him quite consistently. The gap now down to 2.1 seconds, and the top two are actually about 15 seconds ahead of Flack in 3rd place. So this will be an interesting battle for 1st place here at the end of the night.
Yeah, and we've got Craig catching up to Bill Cosmo and Harrison Tebb, who are about to get overlapped very shortly, as Bill Cosmo again has lost it on that last corner. So definitely not tonight for Bill Cosmo.
Yeah, really unfortunate again for him. He's now down to 16th place.
I've just noticed that Wayne Walker's got a DNF next to his name, so I'm not sure what happened there. But the fastest man looks like he's retired from the Grand Prix, I believe, Shane?
Yeah, looks like he's gone to the pits, not too sure the reason. We do know that he starts early the next morning, so he might have to call it a day because he's got to get up super early tomorrow morning to go to work. So unfortunately he's had to pull out. It's gone over 10 minutes. That looks like Eli Newman's just stuck it in the wall there. Oh, stay. Oh!
Scott Flack goes right himself. That was a big hit. Going now, and thankfully, still running in third place behind Lennon, and Broadbent leaning at 1.5 seconds, so McLennan's actually catching him.
He is indeed. He's getting ever so closer. I'm not sure if he's going to be in the slipstream of Craig Broadbent coming down the main straight. It doesn't look like he is. I don't think he's quite that close enough as Bill Cosmo and Phil Traleglio come out of pits for another set of new tyres. But yeah, no, great battle between Chris and Craig Broadbent is now starting to unfold. The gap is 1.7 seconds. And at the moment, I believe, apart from Wayne Walker, the fastest man out there is Matt Collins, as Wayne Walker has picked up a DNF. So new fastest man is now Matt Collins, down in fourth with a 1:10.6.
Yeah, and with McLennan catching Broadbent as he is, we could very possibly see a small duel between the two in the closing laps. We've got 6 left of this race tonight, and our current placings are mixed up again, with Broadbent leading McLennan, Flack, Scott Collins, and Spotto as your top 5. And each separated by about 11, between 9 and 10 seconds, but our top 2 separated by just over 1.5.
Yeah, and Bill Cosmo looks like he's maybe stuck out on the circuit. He doesn't seem to be moving whatsoever. Maybe he's saying hello to the crowd. But I can't really see him because I haven't got the best angle there. But we'll go back to the Chris McClellan. Oh, Chris is now coming to the pits for new tyres. So he's definitely going to push towards the end of this race. And I think he's coming out on the softs, I believe. Anyway, but Scott Flack has gone up to second place. He's 11 seconds behind Craig Broadbent. So Craig Broadbent might have this race in the bag due to Matt Collins' pit stop. Chris's pit stop, I should say. It's 5 laps to go, but anything could happen. But we'll see what happens when that checkered flag falls.
And yeah, you were right. He did come out on the soft compound tyre. So the top 5 are currently using hard, and then the rest of them are using softs. There's a hit and a spin, and that is Troy Shizlowski and Gregory Newman. Well, it looks like they managed to keep going. Troy Shizlowski is still ahead of Gregory Newman in position 12. So, not a too critical crash, thankfully. Glad to see that they're still running. Just 5 laps left of this race, so it can go to anyone now. And Flack is 11.1 seconds behind Broadbent, with Collins 8.9 seconds behind him.
Yes. Yeah, this is some exciting stuff.
I don't know if you're... Sorry, I don't know if you're watching. Shizlowski ran off again, and Gregory Newman ran into him as well. They were both going, and this time Newman is out ahead of him. He goes down the inside, and he takes the place back. So Shizlowski, 13th, ahead of Gregory Newman. So those two clash again, but it looks like they're still going towards the end of the race.
Yeah, and Bill Cosmo's now DNF'd from the race. Bit of a shame for Bill Cosmo because he's a really good driver. It just wasn't his night, unfortunately, here on the Gold Coast at Surfers Paradise. Craig Broadbent has now lost a little bit of time to Scott Flack down in second place. But I don't think Scott Flack has got enough laps to do anything about Craig Broadbent at the moment. I'm just going to go through the field just to see what's happening. We've got Harrison Tebb, who's right behind David Baker, 4th position. So a great little battle unfolding between these two in the last 3 laps. We'll see if David Baker can hold off Harrison Tebb and take that checkered flag for 7th position.
Yeah, these two are cutting it really close with each other now. And they're really going to be going at it because they're neck and neck in the championship fight as well. They really want to get ahead of each other. And it looks like Tebb isn't taking opportunity, although he gets a relatively good exit out of that turn. He's going fighting his time, holding it really well. He's right on the tail of Baker, so we may see opportunist turn up at some point.
Yeah, and Troy just getting way of these two. Coming through, Harrison Tebb, not the best exit coming down the main straight, but I'm pretty sure he's going to have to slipstream of David Baker coming into turn one. And I don't think Harrison Tebb will send it up the inside. As we've mentioned before, turn one can be a little bit tricky, especially if you don't get it right with the chicanes. So I think Harrison is just going to bide his time and hopefully force David into a mistake in the last 2 laps.
Yeah, and as we saw as they came up to turn one, Tebb was too far away to send it around the outside either. It would have been too much of a risky move. But he's still right on the back of Baker as they go through the 3 chicanes. They keep it clean. Oh, Tebb goes airborne, but he keeps it together. But as a result, he's lost time to Baker and is fallen behind by about half a second.
Yeah, and we got Chris McClellan, who's now the new fastest man out on the track with a 109.1, absolutely smashing it on that last lap. And he's really caught up to Matt Collins for that final podium position with 2 laps to go. So another little battle that we have to keep an eye on there, Gabriel. So Chris, and I thought Chris was going to send it up the inside then, but he's right on the back of him. As we've got Justin Bryce ahead of these two. Oh, and Justin Bryce just gets shoved into the wall there by Matt Collins. But Matt Collins really having to defend from Chris McClellan. But who do you reckon your money is on, Gabriel, for this last...
looking really strong at the moment. And like you said, a 1 minute 9.1, which is 0.8 off of the previous fastest lap. So he's already side by side down the main straight. Down the inside he goes. He keeps it. He gets ahead of Matt Collins in very, very smooth style. That was a move.
And we've got Harrison Tebb and David Baker. Oh, David Baker just lost out there to Harrison Tebb. David Baker making a slight mistake going through those tight chicanes. Oh, and Alex Kiddas just got in the way there. He wanted to say hello, David Baker. It's a quick hello. We've got Scott Flack coming through in the background. So we're on lap 29 out of 30. Craig Broadbent still with a 10-second lead. I don't think anyone's going to do anything about that. As long as Craig can keep it pointing in the right direction and doesn't make a mistake, then Craig Broadbent is going to take the checkered flag as he begins the final lap with Harrison Tebb close behind in 7th position. And Eli Newman just in front of him here. But I'm going to ride on board with Craig for this last lap, and hopefully he keeps it pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, we want to stay focused on the battle between Tebb and Baker, because those two are separated by it was less than a second when I looked at it last. It looks like that gap has really grown.
Yeah, and I've just noticed as well that Matt Collins and Chris McClellan are now catching up to Scott Flack here on the last lap. But Alex Kiddas is in between them. It's Matt Collins getting the chicanes wrong just there, losing a little bit of time. But yeah, Scott Flack having to really defend, and that's a great move by Chris on the inside of Troy Kozlowski.
Down the inside he goes! He takes the place from Flack, he takes 2nd place.
And Collins is in there as well, and Collins has done the same thing.
He just pushed him wide and he managed to squeeze himself in there. What a move. And the 2 drivers made up 1 more place for that lucky last lap. What great racing from these guys.
And Craig Broadbent has taken the checkered flag. Great job from Craig Broadbent, taking out that race win after 30 laps. And Chris McClellan comes home in 2nd with Matt Collins in 3rd. Scott Flack, who'll be really disappointed with that last lap performance, losing out to Chris and Matt as well. As we've got James coming down the main straight, taking that 5th spot. So great racing there from James. Strong finish, taking home inside the top 5. And Alpa Axus making his way around the last corner now to take home 6th. Harrison Tebb still got a couple more corners to go. as David Baker a fair ways behind now, behind Harrison Tebb. Justin Bryce is parked in the garage along with Bradley Martin, who's in 10th. Braden Pitchard crosses the line for 11th. Great job from him. Shannon Barnes coming through onto the main straight now to take 12th place. Alex Kiddas parked in the garage for 13th, as well as Troy in 14th. Eli Newman coming down into the last corner in the Irwin racing car for 15th. Gregory Newman, I believe there's some sort of relation there between him and Eli, I'm pretty sure. As we've got Wayne Walker, Bill Cosmo, Phil Chalaglio, Don Barnes, all with a DNF.
Yeah, really unfortunate to see them out of this race. They had strong pace, those guys. But yeah, congratulations to Broadbent for taking the win by quite a big margin too.
Yeah, by 13 seconds it was in the end, so strong performance there from Craig.
And close battle between Teb and Baker, that was interesting to see. But it looks like Teb came out on top by about 9 seconds.
Okay. We'll check in with Shane.
Okay, so that's the checkered flag. We've just completed 30 laps, and it was Craig Broadbent who took out the honours ahead of a charging Chris McLennan and Matt Collins taking Scott Flack on literally the last corner of the race. So congratulations to them taking their next two positions. Unfortunately, Scott Flack going from 2nd and 4th in that exchange, and James Spotto had a solid race at the front end, finishing in P5. Alpa Axcu definitely was hot on the pace all night. We didn't get to see much of him on track. Stayed out of trouble and finished 6th. Behind him, Harrison Tebb just got David Baker just before the end there to finish 7th and 8th. Justin Bryce finishing P9. Bradley Martin in P10. Finishing in P11 after getting stuck there for a little bit, Braden Pritchard ahead of Shannon Barnes. Alex Kiddis had a couple of incidents there. Troy Cieslawski, Eli Newman, Gregory Newman finishing in 14, 15, 16. Wayne Walker retiring early for P17. Bill Cosmo really hot at the start and just dropped back towards the end of the night. Phil Chalaglio retiring early as well, P19, and Don Barnes finishing in top 20. That wraps up the racing tonight. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you can make it for the last round of the V8 Supercars at Adelaide. So just to show you the schedule on when to tune in, that'll be on the 30th of November. So a bit of a break now as we head to Adelaide and for the final round of the V8s. Hope you can join us, and we'll see you on the other side.